What's up, guys? Today I'm excited to show you the viral video scraper automation. With this workflow, you can scrape the top 10 most viral videos of your competitors on Instagram, transcribe them, and then analyze that transcript to analyze what made them go viral so that you can replicate that same success. So let's dive in and see how this actually works. This is the n8n workflow that is tied to a couple different Notion databases, which I'll show you in a second. The first Notion database is going to be one where we're going to organize all of our competitors or creators or whoever you're trying to analyze the top performing posts from. In that Notion database, we pass over the Instagram profile URL through a webhook. We're then sending that webhook over to an Apify app that is scraping all of the Instagram reels from that profile, including the details about views and all that. We're then taking that information about the views for each of those reels, and we're sorting them best to worst. And then we're taking the top 10 highest performing reels and just moving those along. And then we're transcribing each of those 10 reels. We're preparing them to be sent over to Notion. And then in this step, we're actually sending them over to a separate Notion database where we're organizing all of those high-performing reels or clips. So let me just kind of show you what that looks like. We go into, this is the Notion database where you'll organize all of the creators or competitors, whoever that you want to keep tabs on and find the best performing Instagram reels from. And we have a couple here for example's sake, and you'll see a couple different columns. It's super simple. One is a button that when clicked starts the workflow, and that is going to go find all of the top performing reels for the creator that you added into the database. So we have a couple examples here. The creator name is just the person that the profile name of the Instagram account, and then their Instagram profile URL. And then lastly, what I like to do is actually add in a link, a URL to their profile picture, because when we get into the clips database, you'll see how that actually plays out. We'll be able to see more easily and organize the clips by profile picture as well. So real quick, we have a couple creators here. And what I do in terms of if you want to get that profile picture URL, all you have to do is when you're in the profile of whoever you want to scrape the top reels from, you can just right click on their profile picture and go down to copy image address and then paste that into the profile picture URL field. Also too, I like to kind of have these profile pictures attached to the name, and all you have to do is right click again, copy image, click on this section here, click upload, and paste the profile picture, and then it'll upload it for you. So it's just a nice way to organize it. Not to connect it into the automation or whatever, but just is mostly for organizational sake. So anyway, now that we have our creators here, let's show what the end result will actually be. So what we'll do is we would click Get Viral Clips. It would run this automation, and then there's a separate database called the Clips database where all the top performing posts will be entered into automatically. And so I've already run it here just for example's sake. And you can see that Stephen Meller is listed out here, the top 10 highest performing and viral Instagram reels on his profile, ordered in the highest to lowest performance. So you can see here 1 through 10. These are his top 10 ranked in order. Then we even pull the caption of each of those highest performing reels. So you can see, what was he using for his caption? Is it just a quick small one, or is he outlining things? Use that for your own analysis sake as well. The duration, so you can see, is this a talking head video that's 1.5 minutes, or in some cases you can see Some are like 6, 7, 10 seconds long, which is typically those like non-talking looping videos, and those perform really well, as we can see. Then we can see by views as well, and obviously those are ranked highest views at the top down to lowest views because we have it in order of best performing to least performing out of the top 10. You can see the likes, and then we even pull the name of the song that was used or the audio that was used in the Instagram reel as well. So you can see here song name, and if it was just him talking and it was an original audio, he didn't use a trending sound, then it will just be original audio. But if he used a trending sound or just a soundtrack behind his video, we'll have the name of it, and then we even pull the link to that sound. So if you click on, let's say, Bright, if we click on that, it's going to take us to the page where we can actually access that trending audio. So if we play it, right? So that was one that he used. We can go into other ones. Let's see what he used here. Right. Right. So we can see not just the video and transcript that he created, but the trending sounds are a big part of what helps audio Instagram Reels perform well as well. So now we can actually start pulling, okay, as you get more and more high performing Reels, you can start to see, all right, if there's certain sounds that people are using that are helping these videos perform. And then the format, this is a more manual step, but it helps with the idea of, okay, if we click down the options, what's the format of the video? Is it a conversation, a green screen, routine, screen share, etc.? So there's different ways to approach your content from like a format perspective. And if you start organizing these top performing posts by format, you can start to see trends of, okay, these types of creators are using the whiteboard, the split screen whiteboard approach, or they're using a green screen behind them a lot and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of great data behind high performing posts that we can start to use to infer what we should be doing for our posts as well, or for your clients if you're a content agency. Now, here's even more valuable information about these high performing posts is we're using the Notion AI native features to pull the transcript and analyze it based on a bunch of useful information. So one is the just an overall post analysis. This column is just analyzing the transcript of the post and giving a breakdown as to why it believes it performed well. So if we click into it, you'll see it breaks it down into 3 different reasons that it believed it performed well. One is concise and actionable content. The video emphasizes a straightforward approach to course creation, etc. Engagement through relatability, so it's a relatable post. Use of visual aids, etc. Timeless and relevance, clear call to action, etc. So we're using AI to actually analyze transcripts and provide us back training as to why something performed well, at least from like the transcript, the text point of view. Additionally, we're pulling out the actual topic. So course creation with focused results, using ManyChat for effective audience engagement, importance of engaging captions and reels. So now we're also getting, when we think about, oh, what should we talk about? This is actually pulling out the topics from the top 10 best performing reels of your competitors. You can go in here and just say, oh, I'll just use that. Then it pulls out the hook. So, hooks are a critical part of why Instagram Reels perform well. And we are essentially creating a long list, a database of hooks that are attached to the best performing Reels of your competitors. So if you ever needed to find a hook that you think is going to perform well, come into here. This is a list of hooks. Calls to actions, same thing. And then we're even going even further into the psychology of the script by looking at the pain, fear, desire, and objection that was focused on in the video itself. So in terms of the pain, for this top video, the pain of overwhelming information and lengthy courses that leads to confusion and lack of competition, resulting in frustration, etc. So that was the pain that this video focused on. Same thing with the fear of overwhelming information leading to inactive failure to achieve specific results. So, and the same thing with desire and objection. It's the idea of what's the angle, approach, objection, or objective of this video? What fears is it hitting on? What objections is it talking through? And so we can start to understand, okay, what is the psychology of our ideal client, and what are the top performing posts? What are the fears that they're speaking to that are resonating with that audience, or a desire that they have that these high performing posts are speaking to that are resonating with the audience? Because then we can start to see, okay, these are the psychology triggers that we should be using in our content as well. So really valuable stuff. But let's actually break down now how this automation works from a technical standpoint, and actually run an example so we can see, how this automation is going to go from just a list of creators to this top performing Instagram Reels database and analysis. So we have this creators page, and whenever you find a new creator or competitor, you come in here, you click new to add a new creator. You add their name. You can add the profile picture if you want, but mainly just need the name and Instagram profile URL to make the automation run. And then you can go as far as to add the profile picture. And that profile picture, if I jump back over to here, it just adds it as the page icon, so that when you have multiple creators and you kind of forget, oh, wait, who is Stephen Meller? Sometimes it's easier visually to identify them with their profile picture. So we have another creator here, Ava Jurgens, and let's get the top 10 posts, Instagram Reels from her Instagram account. So we will jump back into the automation. We'll click execute workflow, and we will just click get viral clips. And that is going to run. Now, this is going to take a bit because it needs to run through the API, run and get all of the Instagram Reels from that account. And if they have a lot of Instagram Reels, there's a lot that it needs to pull. So it's going to take a while at this step to go through and scrape all of those Instagram Reels. If it's a smaller account, it'll take less time, etc. But while that's happening, I'll kind of walk you through some other things. This first step, get viral clips, if we click into it, it's a button that is sending a webhook, and it's also including within that webhook the Instagram profile and the profile pic along URL along with it. And it's sending a webhook call to a URL, which is this webhook step here. So you would have your URLs here. You're taking this production or test URL, and that's what you're including in the URL field here. Now, the next step is the IG Top Reels step, where it's finding scraping through all of their Instagram Reels in total. So if we click into this, this is an HTTP request, and this is going out to a separate Apify app, or what they call actors. So if we go over to Apify, if you're unfamiliar, Apify is a tool, a platform, a marketplace, if you will, that has dedicated apps or plugins that run, or you can subscribe to, that connect into your n8n workflows. So instead of having to build a separate scraper yourself and then host and manage that, etc., you can really go into Apify, and it's like a marketplace. Actually, we'll go to console. It's like a marketplace, an app store essentially for separate tools that you can plug into your n8n workflows and be able to do a lot of great additional features and to run your n8n workflows without having to build them yourself. So you can see here, if we go into like the Apify store, which again, like I said, it's pretty much like the app store on your phone. You can do a bunch of stuff, things with LinkedIn, scrapers. You can scrape news, things to help you with lead generation, etc. So it's a whole app store that has a lot of great tools in there that help you run your automations. Go check that out. The one that there's a couple that we're using for this step here, and it looks like all is already run, so I'll show that in a second. But for the step of actually scraping all of the Instagram reels from your competitor's Instagram page, we are using this Instagram scraper actor, and I'll leave a link to that in the section below. And Apify is a paid subscription within the content agent community. I do have trainings on how to set that up, how to create an account, how to connect the API from your Apify store into your n8n workflow. But you do need a subscription. In some cases, you do need to pay per actor or app as well. In this case, you do have to pay an additional fee. It's $2.30 for every 1,000 results. So depending on the result is the number of reels. So in each case, you can see these are the individual runs. You can see it's about some cases, 5 cents, some 50 cents. It ranges. But let's call it, for the sake of having a good idea of what you're going to pay, it could be up to 50 cents per run every time you want to find the top performing posts of your competitors. And in my mind, that is very much fair because the alternative is you going through and combing through your competitor's Instagram page and trying to do this manually, which could take you, I don't know, hours. So what's 50 cents in the grand scheme of things? Also, too, if you're a content agency, time is money, and if the client's paying you to do this already, 50 cents is by far, a bargain. So you'll see here what you're going to do is set up your Apify account, go to the Instagram scraper app, and then there in the section here, you're going to put in the Apify API associated with that actor. So if we go back to here, again, I have trainings on how to do this step specifically in the content agent community. So go check that out as well. But to find that API URL that we need to put into the HTTP request, you go to the Apify actor, and then you're going to go over to integrations, and then you're just going to look up API, and then scroll down, and then click on use API endpoints, and then scroll down to run actor synchronously and get dataset items. And you're going to copy this post API key right here. You can use this copy feature right here. And then you go back into the HTTP request and then paste that into the URL field. Next is the JSON. What this is doing, essentially, keep this as is. What we're pulling here is the Instagram profile URL that was sent over from the webhook call. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay. So the Instagram profile URL, that this element here is what's being injected here, and this is the JSON format that it wants to receive with the URL included. that's being sent over from our webhook call, and that is what's being used to send to the, we'll go back into here, to the Instagram scraper. Oops. We'll go back into the Instagram scraper. It's running in the background, and then that's sending back to our n8n workflow. So now that we have the all of the Instagram reels from that account, and in this case, it found 200 items, 200 Instagram reels. Next is we have a sorting node where its function is to take the video view count and sort it by descending. So the highest performing posts by view count go from highest to lowest, and that's all that's doing. And then next is the IG top 10, which is, hey, take the top 10 of that list and move those items along. So the output is 10 items, and it's the first items in the list, which is the top, and get those top 10, which is the top 10 highest performing, and move those items along to the next step. So now we have, we moved an Instagram URL through the webhook. We use that to call the Apify actor or app to scrape all of the Instagram reels for that profile. We are then using the view count for those Instagram reels to find the best performing ones, the top ones being best performing by views, bottom ones being the least. And then we're taking the top 10 of that list and moving it along. And then now we are transcribing those 10 Instagram reels. And that's what we're going to be sending back to the clips database in Notion. And this is now a separate actor or app in Apify in order to transcribe the Instagram reels. So we used one Apify app or actor to scrape the Instagram reels in total and get the information about those reels in terms of view count. Now we're actually transcribing those videos to get the result of a text or transcription. And so similarly, we are using an HTTP request, and we are going to call an API call. And for this instance, in order to transcribe these videos, we're using the Instagram Reel transcript app in Apify, and I'll leave a link to that as well below. And for this instance, what this is using is it's not just the app, but it's also using in conjunction an OpenAI API call as well. So it's here you'll see you do have to enter in an OpenAI API key. So you have to have an OpenAI account set up, which again, go to the content agent community, or I have a video, 101 video on how to set this up as well and get started with that. But you'll see here, you just go over to, you set up, go to OpenAPI, create a developer account, go in to the platform.openai.com, go to API keys, create new secret key, label it, Apify Real Transcriber, and then go back into here and paste your key into the OpenAI API key and save it. And now it's basically a handoff between your OpenAI account Whisper feature and the Instagram Reel transcriber. And it has been rock solid for me, so highly recommend. So same thing as well, when we go into the URL, you're going to want to make sure you get the API URL from here by going into integrations and then searching API and getting that same API URL, pasting that into the URL here, and then keep all of this as is. Again, we are pulling the Instagram URL but this Instagram URL is the URL of the high-performing reel, Instagram reel, from the top 10 list that we pulled from the previous step. So we have, in the previous step, top IG posts, and we are pulling somewhere in here is the URL of the actual, here you go, URL. So this is what we're pulling into this step, because this is the URL. If we were to go to this URL, it would go directly to the viral video. And so in this step, the app is taking the viral video URL and using that to download and transcribe the video itself. So it's doing this 10 times, and that's what this output is, 10 items. And the result here is the transcript of the video. And so that's what this step is doing. And then next is we are just splicing up the transcript into multiple outputs, is the first step here, which is because when we pass over the transcript to Notion, it can only receive 2,000 character chunks or blocks at a time. So if it's a really long transcript, then we need to have multiple blocks sent over in segments. So that's what that's doing in the first few sections here. Result 1, splice it up into 0 to 200 characters, and then if it goes further than that, 400 to or 4,000 to 6,000 characters, etc. 2,000 to 4,000 characters, 4,000 to 6,000 characters. So that's all that's doing. And then here is we are pulling the additional information from those top 10 results, including the caption, the duration, the views, the likes, etc. So we have the transcript of the video, but we're also pulling all of the additional information about that video, again, like the duration of the video, the view count, the song name, and all that kind of stuff. So all of this is being connected to the IG top 10 real information is being included into this field. That's where it's pulling it from. And that's passing along. And as you can see, the output is going to be 10 items because we're pulling the top 10 best performing reels. And the results are going to be the transcript, the caption information, duration, views, etc. And then this is where that profile URL comes in. We're also taking that profile picture URL. We're going to use that in the next step, you'll see. So finally, the last step is that we are sending this information over to our clips database. So if we click into that, the database that this is sending information to is the clips database. And you can see here everything was passed along. All that information is being added into these fields. So if we go back into here, what this is setting up is it's creating a page in a selected database within your Notion account. And so we have to select which database. And so you would select the Clips TCA database. Now, one thing that you need to make sure of at this step is that for both the creators and the Clips databases, in order for these to connect appropriately in the n8n workflow, you do need to make sure that you have set up the connection. So the connection means that you need to have credentials for Notion attached to your n8n workflow, and that you've gone into that dedicated database page and you've connected that Notion database into your n8n workflow or account so that information can be passed back and forth. And so if you need to know how to do that step, go to, again, the Content Agent community, where I have a 101 training on how to create your Notion connection and credentials, attach that to your n8n account, and then as well as make sure that you're connecting a individual Notion page or database to your workflow, so that when you do click on uh, pull information to and push information to that database, it comes up in this list. Otherwise, it doesn't know. It doesn't have that connection in order to know where to send this information. So, since we have the connection and credentials, the Clips TCA page is visible here, and so we've selected it. And then the information we're passing along, the name, so that's the name of the creator, and then the post URL, so of the top 10 highest performing posts, what was the URL of that post, the view count, the song name, song link, caption, etc. All of that information is being pulled from the previous step where we have all of that listed out. So all this is just this element, in these, or, song name element right here. So none of that needs to be edited if you just download the template directly from the community. And then lastly, I'll show you, or one more step, is the blocks element. So this is, we are adding the transcript directly into the page that we're creating in the clips database. So when we do create, you'll see here the top 10 list here. Where's the transcript? It's inside, if you scroll down, it's inside of the page itself. So on each of these pages, this is the transcript, right? So how it gets into that page is this section here. So we go to blocks, and then we're going to be adding in a paragraph and separate text blocks within that paragraph. And these separate text blocks are each of those spliced up transcript blocks that we created in the previous step. So remember when we spliced up the transcript into 2,000 character blocks and segments, that's all this step is here, is we are adding in separate little text blocks and including the result 1, result 2, and result 3, which is just if there needed to be multiple 2,000 character blocks, that's where each one will be injected. And then lastly is we are adding a file profile picture, so that we get this here. We get this, profile picture on the edge here. So that, again, like I said, if you're going to have just a running list of high performing posts, it sometimes can be like, oh, who is Ava again? Who's Steven? Whatever. But having that profile picture there just kind of helps jog the memory of like, okay, it's this creator. You remember profile pictures, I think, more than usernames anyway. So that helps organize visually the differences here. And so that's what this step is we are pulling that profile picture URL, and we're including it as the icon for the page, is a custom image, essentially. So all of that, and once pushed, it gets sent to the clips page and listed out in order, as we see here. The post URL, so you can click off to the high-performing post here directly and see it. And then we can see the captions as well, so that you can see what they're using. In some cases, it's things like comment, X to get Y or whatever, so we can see what kind of strategies they're using for that. The duration, so we can see on average how long is an Instagram reel. The shorter ones, you can also go in here and change the sort if you wanted to sort by duration or view count or likes. By default, it's sorting by name. And the name obviously is going to be sorted by the best performing to the least performing top 10 Instagram reel. But you can sort this however you want. We have the views, likes, song name. Looks like Ava doesn't use any trending sounds. It's all original audio. And then again, the format is we would go in and see what video it is. So in this case, this is a conversation. It's a podcast. So if we go back into here, we would label this as a conversation. So that's how that works. Now, all of this post-analysis breakdown, this is going to be provided about 5 minutes after you send over all of your clip information, clip transcript information from the n8n workflow. That's because Notion runs its AI features about 5 minutes after a page has been updated. So you'll see at first it won't have this information. Wait a few minutes, and then all of this will start to populate. And as we can see here, we have a post analysis, engaging hook, consistency and frequency, call to action, etc. Going viral on Instagram Reels, what's the hook of the video, etc. All this stuff is giving us our analysis and breakdown. So continue to do this for your competitors or for your clients' competitors to see what's working for that niche, that industry, and then have this deep analysis of what hooks are working well, what topics are working well, and then what are some of the psychological triggers that you should be focused on within your content as well. And now you're growing just this growing database of high performing posts along with analysis, along with hooks, so that when you go to create content for yourself or for your clients, you have the exact literal scripts as to what will perform well. And you don't have to guess any longer. So if you want access to the templates, both the n8n workflow and both of these Notion database pages, go to the Content Agent community. This is a community where I'm constantly building content automations just like this to help personal brands, content agencies, podcasts, YouTube channels be able to create quality content at scale, and be able to research what's working, create content, publish content, analyze content. And so it's just a growing community of people and creators helping each other be able to create better content at scale. So head over there. You'll find the assets you need to be able to duplicate this easily, along with more trainings and automations to help you as a creator grow. So see you over there.